Morgan Rogers, Aston Villa to Chelsea, 117 million quid. Elliot Anderson, Nottingham Forest to Manchester City, 116 million quid. Absolutely remarkable stuff. Alyson, your thoughts on, just tee us off with some quick thoughts on both those transfers, just to get us going.
Well, they set the tone, I think, for how we view the clubs involved. So I remember sat in this very studio being asked by you, Tom, who do Arsenal need to kick on next season? What would be their marquee signing to really push to be able to succeed in Europe and maybe win the Premier League with a bit more style than they did? And I think I wasn't alone in saying Morgan Rogers.
Yep.
And I think you agreed with me.
Yes, I think a lot of people did. A lot of Arsenal fans as well.
There were lots of speculation and discussions. And I'm sure Gary will know just how serious it got with Arsenal's interest in Morgan Rogers. But I think if you'd been asked to put money on where will he go, a lot of people would have said, people in the know would have said, I think he's probably going to go to Arsenal. But they were worried about the various, the way the deal was constructed, the size of it. They seemed still slightly obsessed with overpaying for players. And income, out of nowhere, income Chelsea, we'll have him. We'll pay what you want.
10th place Chelsea, indeed. I mean,
Chelsea without any European competition, but with a new manager, I would suggest the signing of Morgan Rogers helps to imply that they're going to be playing three at the back, maybe 3-4-3 with Morgan Rogers and Cole Palmer behind João Pedro, perhaps.
Interesting.
Maybe. And to attract a player who could have had Europe, not having Europe, could have had Europe, his existing club or his new club, another club, he's gone for a club without any European competition. So there's something going on with how Chelsea are packaging what they're about this coming season. And I think you have to conclude Chelsea, having ended the season in a not so brilliant place, might be a force to be reckoned with this campaign.
Tony, I'll come to you on Chelsea in a second, but that does tee us up perfectly to ask Gary Jacob about a piece that you wrote on the website about this exact transfer. And Alyson talking about Arsenal maybe missing a trick with Morgan Rogers. That is kind of what happened, wasn't it?
Where do you want to start on this? Okay.
Arsenal were in the running, yes?
Yeah. For months, they've been dithering with a lot of these players about what do they want to go for them. They're trying to use agents to try to do the deal rather than just picking up the phone and doing the deal.
Really?
And if you're taking that approach, then that person who sat in the seat is going, well, do you really want me or don't you want me?
So you're saying Arsenal could have had Morgan Rogers?
Could have had him weeks ago for 100 million, done and dusted.
Really?
So that's one thing. So do you really want him? And does a player really believe that you want him? And if the player really believes you want him and you lock him down like they did with Declan Rice a few years ago, then when Man City come in late, as they did for Declan Rice, he goes, no, sorry, I'm going to Arsenal. Yeah. So it doesn't matter what they do. So even if Man City try to change the deal with West Ham and go, oh no, we'll offer you more, as Man United did with Bale, offered more than Real Madrid did, and Bale said, no, I'm going Real Madrid. So it's irrelevant. Even if Tottenham tried to leave that deal, and even if Villa tried to leave it, he goes, no, sorry, I'm going to Arsenal. You can do what you want to do. I only want to go there. But they didn't do that. So unless you get that person locked down, and that's been, you sold time, didn't you?
Players, been there.
If you've been there, if you're
not
playing,
that level, but
if you're playing in the dressing room, you say, I'm sorry, I'm only going to this club. So they haven't locked the players.
Is this a bigger win for Chelsea or a bigger loss for Arsenal? I mean, because Alyson's right in her answer, isn't she? That everyone was going, Arsenal, Morgan Rogers. That's a great signing. It's a statement for the champions.
Mikel wanted him. They would say they didn't want to pay the price. They only had a certain level to go to, which 80, they might have gone to 100. And then I guess I suspect start last week, Chelsea didn't think he was going to go there, because they'd only just more than a year. They assumed he's going to Arsenal. Now, I suspect, I don't know this, but my suspicion will be that Villa then sort of call up Chelsea and go, look, they're messing us around here.
Got another 17 million.
Are you interested? Oh, yeah, we are interested. And then they go, oh, by the way, we still like Garnacho. And then you can argue about, whether they are linked deals or not linked deals. They would
which
say
we might do in a bit.
Which you might do, and they might say they're not. And, they will say they're not. So then you kind of think it's got messy. And the thing is, it's not the only player Arsenal had messed up this summer. They obviously wrote today, they met Jeremy Monga, 5 million quid they offer Leicester. Leicester want 10 plus a little bit more. They're sort of dithering around. Man City come and go, right, okay, there we go. Done, dusted, off we go.
Tony, just general thoughts. Ali and Gary have made some fantastic observations about this transfer. Your thoughts, both maybe from a Chelsea win, but also an Arsenal loss side?
Well, I mean, look, Gary's alluded there to going to 100 million, but, initially, wasn't it 80 million, Gary? That was the starting place. It ended up 116. So there's a
170.
117. So there's a 32 million pound difference. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy money difference. It's not like, it was 80 and he's gone for 85 with another club. It's leapt to 117.
But even with Arsenal,
quickly.
Gary was saying Arsenal would have paid 100.
Maybe would have gone to with add-ons, yeah.
So you think I guess that's a good question. Do you think that's Chelsea have overpaid for Morgan Rogers, would you say?
Yeah, but in the history of transfers and record fees, there's always been an overpayment to get them. And Gary's just alluded, they wanted him. Yeah. And they really wanted him.
But I guess that's a good question.
I mean, not saying that Arsenal don't want him, but obviously Chelsea wanted him more than Arsenal.
I mean, the money is absolutely obscene, of course, and we'll come on to some of these fees in a second, but 100 million for a kind of top English player of a certain age feels like, is that par these days? I mean, it's madness, isn't it?
It must be par, because I did not even blink. It didn't even occur to me that's a lot of money. Right. It felt quite natural. So clearly over the seasons, I'm inbuilt with an expectation that the next transfer window will see big money, and I've become immune to it being startling.
We saw it last year, Tom. We saw this carry on last year, didn't we, with Liverpool? With Isaac. The sort of fee, and then obviously they had Wirtz as well. We saw these extraordinary fees coming, but it's the norm now. But
in the market then, in this acceptance of that being a big fee, is £117 million for Morgan Rogers a good deal, or is it quite a lot of money?
It's probably a little bit toppy.
A bit toppy.
It's toppy, but the market's been moved, hasn't it, this summer by Fernandes, by Tonali, and the market has just shifted again this summer. And, Arsenal were in for both of those, but didn't want to pay the agent fee or the fee that was attached to those deals.
What do we think about Arsenal's point of view then of standing their ground on these? Because I look at it from a kind of narrative perspective and, the stance of we're the champions. And I'm kind of thinking, you go out and sign, say if they were sat here now with Tonali and Rodgers for 200 million it might have cost them, just less than. You're going, God, Arsenal, wow. Yeah. Wow, they've got Rice and Tonali, they've got Rodgers and Saka.
We did that with Liverpool last season, didn't we? We thought, wow, isn't that very clever? True. You've won the title, you're not resting on your laurels. You realise this is the moment to really show that you're intending to be strong for the next 5 years. You're going big. And then they spent a lot of money on two players, which I can't say flops, but I'm going to say flops. I mean, relative to their cost, were flops. And so if you're Arsenal, you're looking at that.
Ekitike injured, of course, but yes, I take you in a
I'm not including Ekitike, and Wirtz and Isaac are the ones that cost a lot of money. And Isaac wasn't match fit because he'd gone on strike, and then he got injured, and Wirtz struggled to adapt to the Premier League, and a lot was expected. And this is what happens. The player isn't in charge of how much he's valued, but it's as though you've had a Cinderella fairy sort of sprinkle dust on you. Oh, you cost that much, therefore you've got to really, really sparkle. You've got to be extra special. And they weren't. And so I have some sympathy for Arsenal thinking, well, we don't want to do a Liverpool where we spend big, big money on a player who might not actually end up looking more than a 75 million player, as if that's a bargain. But you know what I mean?
I think when they started looking at Declan, the price was probably 80. Right? It went to 100, and they were like, it started going up. And one thing George Kroenke said, that's when he just sit down there last season. He said, if we're going to spend this money, it was about, say, 100 million was like a quarter of their revenue at that point, probably. I want to understand he's not just a good footballer, he's more than, and if you meet Declan, he's far more than just a very good footballer. And so I think that was the light bulb moment. Okay, right, I can sanction it. And probably if you're Arsenal, you're asking those questions now about the player, the character and all that, and you're asking those bigger questions about, do we want to spend this? And they will probably say, we don't want to also they'll probably say the players are too toppy. But then there's another part of the question we can't quite answer yet, and we won't answer until September, is that are they actually sealing the deal for the players or not? We don't know that, because a lot of this is about actually getting the deal done. It's not just about paying the money, it's actually locking the player, making sure everything's in place, you get the deal done.
Yeah, and as you said, I'm being mischievous in the middle of July talking about, Arsenal have cocked up the transfer window. There's a long time to go. We could be at the start of the season and they've signed a couple of people for 60, 70 million. You're going, oh, no, this was much better business.
I think the thing is, we all watched the Champions League final. You could see the difference in terms of the way PSG put the ball around and also the Carabao final, the way Man City could play through them. And Arsenal really do need more technical players and more elite players. You can see to kind of close that gap. Or you could win the league with the type of signings they made last year, but you can't maybe win more than that with that. And I think, those type of players are going to, if you look at the deals they did last summer, they were players like Noni, no one else probably wanted him. Eze, maybe Spurs, but they could easily persuade him. Mendy's already done. There were deals that basically weren't difficult to do, Now they're having to do deals which are much more difficult to do. And so we won't know December, can they actually do
so have they got
deals?
other options? Have they got other options?
Well, they were talking to Barcola, but I don't know, it seems like he'll probably go to Liverpool, it seems. Don't know that for certain. And obviously their main one they really want to go is Alvarez, but Alvarez wants to go to Barcelona and they need to wait for that Barcelona to almost effectively drop away before they
don't want to fight with Barcelona knowing that they would lose. Basically.
Yeah, I was about to say
Atletico Madrid don't want to sell to Barcelona, so they need to get a position where Barcelona just are not in the race.
But there is a world that Arsenal end up with Julian Alvarez instead of Morgan Rogers.
And there's a world where they end up with Alvarez maybe on the left or on the centre, maybe Gyökeres goes the other way and they get in Bruno and everyone's smiling and everyone's happy. But the other thing is that Arsenal probably didn't bank on getting another centre-back, which they now suddenly need because of Saliba's injury. So
I want to come back to that, Tony.
I just want to make, Gary, did you know if Arsenal had a whiff that Chelsea were closer on this deal as well? Or did that come out the blue?
No, and it was I think they might know then, but it was really late. Literally within 72 hours they did that deal, middle of last week. They sort of,